Welcome back to Shem's Universe. So today, guys, we're going to go over who the best manipulators are in numerology. So a lot of people never really think about this. Like, you have to understand that you're dealing with interpersonal dynamics every day. You're dealing with different types of people, and different types of people are going to give you different scenarios, meaning different circumstance. So whether you are the number that's the best manipulator or you're around people that are the best manipulators, quote unquote, what you have to understand is if you are that person, you got to figure out how to turn that manipulation up, use it for sales, use it for politics, use it for whatever. But like, get your status and rank up and get your money up. Like, don't just be manipulating people and getting karmic debt from it like an idiot, right? You want to actually make sure that you're using your natural gifts to actually get ahead and make this money and level up in life in general. The next thing is, if you're around people that are like this, meaning you're around these manipulative people, and let's say you understand they're this life path number or this birth number, then you have to figure out a way in which to be strategic, either by simply accepting them for who they are, or excuse me, figuring out how to navigate around them. So the best way to do that, I would arguably say, is to just, for one, know the people around you should obviously just know their birthday in general. One sec, guys. You should know their birthday. The reason being is if you don't know somebody's birthday that's around you constantly, you don't know what type of energy you have around you. You could have enemy numbers around you, giving you bad luck in your money, your relationships, your overall just contentment with life. So this is just a little prelim to the video, but you need to understand what you're actually dealing with in order to adapt to your current environment, if that makes sense. So let's go over this now. So there's three main manipulative numbers that I want to cover today. And I'm not saying there's not other ones, but these are the most manipulative numbers by far. First one, which is going to surprise you guys, number 3. Life path 3 or birth number 3 individuals are actually very, very socially aware. So when you're around a 3 individual, you have to understand that they're looking at you, yes, as like a true friend or a brother, sister, cousin, uncle, nephew, whatever. But they're also understanding emotional intelligence in a way that you might not quite get, especially somebody who's actualized their energy as a 3. So if you're around a 3 person and let's say you're in a social paradigm with them, like you're just in a social group with them or you work amongst them, that they're like a colleague of yours, they're going to be a bit ahead of you when it comes to just like the politics at work or the politics within like a social realm as well. They're always going to be the person that everybody sort of talks to. They always know what's going on with other people, what's going on with you. They're always going to be prying. So if you're around somebody like that, what you want to do is not necessarily throw them off, but always tell 3s less than necessary in order to evade them if you think they're manipulative. Because if a 3 is somebody who's superficial and they have the negative traits of it, they're going to be able to then blackmail you with certain information, tell it to other people, or just worse than that, just snake you all together and just tell your enemies certain things that you didn't want them to know. The list is endless in that regard, right? But it'll keep going, and you want to make sure that you stop these things in the tracks before it actually happens. If you are a 3 and you're listening to this, don't be offended. What I'm saying is about people who are birth number 3 or life path 3, you guys are very socially aware. So use that to turn up, use that to make money. You should be using that. Like if you're a 3, there's no reason why you shouldn't be the most popular person in your town or your city or your municipality, what have you, right? Like you should be the most popular person in your region in general. If you're a 3, you should be the person that's turning up. You should be garnering attention and then monetizing it, whether that be via running for mayor, whether that be becoming a background actor, then a principal one, sports, what have you, right? But as a 3, you guys are so socially aware and so emotionally intelligent that you can go around any sets of people and be like a chameleon. So you might as well use that and not be viewed as a snake or somebody who's a rat. Be somebody who actually goes out there and makes an impression. Like an example of that is like a 3 is like a Chief Keef in Chicago. He's like the pioneer of that, what you call drill or trap music. But the thing is that when I watched his bio, they said he was from like bare different hoods. Like he's from a whole bunch of hoods. So the thing is that he garnered popularity from all these different hoods, all these different regions, and then used that to propel himself to the top. So from high school, he was already turned up. 2012, we're already turning up to Chief Keef up here in Toronto, let alone people in America, right? So he was already that guy by being the 3, by understanding how social dynamics works. So as a 3, I'm not putting you guys down. You guys are actually some of the most successful people on the planet, amongst the top wealthiest, especially when it comes to life path 3s. So you shouldn't be taking what I'm saying offensively at all. What you should be saying is, I got to make sure I turn up because I'm the most socially aware number in the whole spectrum. So you got to turn up with it. The next one is the number 5. Number 5 can be very, very manipulative, and people don't actually understand that. 3 is usually good with like the spoken word, they're okay, but written word they're really good at, and then they're usually good at like some sort of performance-based thing, like they'll be TikTok stars, YouTube, whatever. But like the 5s now are very dangerous. 5s are very sexually attractive, for one, whether you're birth number 5, life path 5, very sexually attractive to the opposite sex, to whoever, and they're also very much able to get along with everybody. When you look at 5s from a Chaldean numerology perspective, you never like see a 5 and say, oh, that's like an enemy to any specific entity, meaning 5 is represented by Mercury. It has no enemies across 1 through 9, and it's also in the middle. The reason when I had a Jyotish teacher teach me this, he told me, is like the 5 is the middle of these numbers from 1 through 9. So 1 to 4 gets along with the 5, and 6 to 9 gets along with the 5. Doesn't matter. Master numbers include, they minimize to one of those numbers anyways. They all get along with the 5 perfectly, because the 5 knows how to manipulate their way into that. That's the funny part. They have a very special gift of gab. The 5 uses 2 things to manipulate: their attraction, especially if they're a female, and then also their gift of gab. And they could do that as a female as well. I know females have the great gift of gab, very beautiful women, not offensive to them whatsoever. They make their money, and that's just how it is. Like 5s are very good at that. I'd also arguably say that even guys who are 5s will be able to almost intimidate women if they're going up to them with that approach. 5s are very much bold in the way in which they do things. They're daredevils. So because of that, people will view them as sort of that person that's willing to do what they dream of doing. So in turn, they garner more respect and popularity, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, or what have you, like a positive feedback loop of sorts. So with 5s, the reason they can manipulate you is, like I said, 2 ways. Their attraction, they can use it to sway you to do certain things, so they can just sort of tease you with that attraction, that physical anatomy that they have, or they can use the gift of gab, or a combination of both. So if you're listening to this as a 5, understand that that's what you should be using to get ahead. I'm not actually telling you to not do that. I think you absolutely should. I think if you're somebody who's viewed as attractive, you could probably get better jobs, better promotions faster, and then you can use your gift of gab and just mix that with actual competence, and you can get to the top of whatever you're in. So if you're a 5 and you're listening to this, you are one of the best manipulators out there. So to manipulate your reality, all you have to do is 3 things. 1, make sure you're always at your best aesthetics, physically fit, good hygiene. Make sure that you're always looking at the 5 senses, your scent, sight, all that shit, smell, taste, all that stuff. Make sure that you're always like proper, just crispy if you're a guy, if you're a girl, like dolled up, right? Like you want to make sure that you're always at the top of your game. And then with that attraction, you then can have your gift of gab. Read books on psychology if you want. Read books on manipulation. Read Machiavelli, Art of War, what have you. You guys are already naturally good at this stuff, so I don't really need to tell you that. But if you want to enhance it and sharpen it more and weaponize your manipulation, do that. And then mix that with just utter competence, meaning everything you do should be very competent, very disciplined, very consistent. If you mix that consistency and competence with those other 2 traits, your natural attraction and your gift of gab, you're completely unstoppable in this realm. I can't see anybody beating a 5 when they have those traits. Next one, which is the last one, very surprising one, because it's not all the time like this, and I'd say it's the 11. Life path 11s can be extremely, extremely manipulative. Sorry, guys. It's winter in Canada. I gotta take another drink of water, guys. My throat's just dried out. Yeah, sorry, guys. But with the 11 is the most emotionally charged number. 11 is the governor over emotions. 2 1s, double sun, earning it, leveling into 2, which is the moon. So it's very much like a high charisma, high charming energy. The thing with the 11 is they're able to manipulate people through 1 trait alone, and that's just charisma. If you meet an 11 that has charisma, meaning their birth number 11 or life path 11, they're going to have a very, very powerful aura or charisma about them. The way in which they do things, their swagger, whether they're a male or a female, that's going to be undoubtedly noticed. You have to look at guys like Mystic Mac, the Conor McGregors, right? They're the type of people that, he's an 11, I believe he's, I can't remember if he's a birth or a life path 11, but he's actually one of the 2. I think he's July 14th, so I think he's a life path 11 if I'm not mistaken, but I'll check that. You guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But nonetheless, I know he's an 11, and no matter what I'm saying here, he's an 11 in one of these sequences. The reason I bring him up, and I'm putting such importance on a Conor McGregor if you're an 11 and watching this, is because you have to understand that he used what I talked about when it came to manifesting with master numbers in an earlier video from about 2 months ago. I said 11s can do it via vision and emotion, meaning like your logical mind has to combine with your emotions in order to integrate that into reality, and then you manifest. The same thing goes for 11s. An 11 that wants to manipulate, meaning not even wants to, they just do it naturally, like a Conor McGregor. He won most fights. If you watch like the Dark Psychology of Conor McGregor, put it on YouTube, you'll see he won most fights before the fight even happened because of his natural aura, his charisma. He seemed like the lion in the room. So because of that, he lost it over the years because obviously he got rich and pampered, whatever. But when he was first starting out and he was hungry, that 11 was activated, and he was seeing every fight before it happened, and he was seeing how he's going to win exactly, and he was obsessed with his craft, so that garnered competence once again. But as an 11, if you're looking to say, okay, I'm not that manipulative, how do I manipulate my reality? You do it by just envisioning what you want, and then putting logic to it, making a step-by-step process to then getting it. But you have to get an emotionally charged vision, because that emotionally charged vision is going to activate the 11 charisma, and then your aura and everything else about you is going to attract what you want. So it goes two ways. For 11s, when you do that, you're going to naturally get what you want. You can manipulate other people. You're going to be able to charm them. They're going to obviously view you as somebody who believes in yourself more than they believe in themselves. So in turn, they're going to follow you. You're the natural leader. If you're around 11 and they're doing this, cool. If they're leading you on the right path, great. But there are some 11s who are activated, but they don't have a good vision. They can use the 11 for good or bad, right? So there's some 11s out there that are going to be very, very charismatic and charming because their vision might be narcissistic, so it supercharges themselves, but it's not good for anybody else. So in turn, they're able to still turn that natural charm, that natural magnetism on, but they're going to use it against you to get what they want and puppeteer dance with you, meaning they're going to use you and your resources, then throw you out when they're done. So that's the thing, is you have to watch out for those 11s as well. There's some 11s that are very good. They're overly empathetic. They're anxious. They're stressed, have disorders. And they're usually the ones that don't know how to actualize their energy yet. But I notice a lot of the bad 11s, they actually are directing the energy, but in a way that's going to give them a karmic deficit in a future reincarnation. What you want to do is moderate that in between if you're an 11 watching this and say, I can be a manipulator, yes, if I put that towards a career that actually demands that, like sales, marketing, politics, even things like within the financial realm. You can still use your sort of shrewdness with emotional intelligence, business, what have you, and you can use it in a moral compass way to get what you want from life. But when you start scamming people and doing things that are going to belittle you and bring you karmic retribution from the universe, that's when you're going down the wrong path with the 11. Yes, you'll manifest in the short term, but you'll overall meet your overall downfall in the long term. All right, so I hope this does help you guys when you look at the most manipulative numbers. Now I taught you guys how to navigate around them. And if you are one of these numbers, I tell you how to actually weaponize it. So use it at your disposal. That's pretty much my message to you. But aside from that, guys, that should finalize the video for today. If you have any questions, leave it for me in the comment section. Like, subscribe, holla at me. It's over today, guys. Peace.